A small museum in the eastern U.S. state of Maryland is telling the story of African Americans through wax figures. The National Great Blacks in Works Museum in Baltimore is the first of its kind to focus on that history. As VOA's Deborah reports, the museum looks at the suffering African Americans endured as well as their accomplishments.
The 150 wax figures in the museum include educator and author Booker T. Washington, jazz legend Eubie Blake, and the first African-American Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. There's also Harriet Tubman, who before the Civil War helped fugitive slaves escape along the Underground Railroad, a network of secret safe houses, and renowned civil rights leader, the Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr.
We as a people will get to the promised land.
The privately owned museum was founded 30 years earlier by Elmer and Joanne Martin, both educators, who wanted to counter the flawed portrayals of Black Americans they often found in history books. Deborah Pierce-Fakunle is on the museum's board of directors.
The concept of the museum was to put a face on our history. It was done using wax figures because wax figures can make the history lifelike.
The historical journey begins in Africa and culminates with America's first Black president, Barack Obama. Ushango Owens was surprised at how real some of the wax figures appear.
I was coming through one corridor and I turned around, thought it was a person. It was like, kind of jolted me a little bit.
As he leads visitors around, tour guide Tom Saunders points to fascinating stories, including the tale of Henry Brown, a slave who escaped by hiding in a box and shipping himself to a city where he was freed, and Queen Anne Nzinga, who ruled Angola for 50 years.
And any slave trader that came into our territory, she killed him. No slave came from Angola until the death of Queen Anne Nzinga in 1663.
A replica of a 19th century slave ship shows the misery on board. Africans crammed into tiny spaces. The exhibit had an impact on Wayman Lafall, who says many African Americans don't realize how horrible the conditions were.
More people should know about it, because if you don't know your past, it's kind of hard to know where you're going in the future.
Saunders says visitors learn how overseers controlled slaves on U.S. plantations, including restraining them with an iron mask.
Once this was placed over your head, you could neither eat nor drink. And the mask is mounted to the wall, so he's suspended by his head.
Other exhibits also present important but less well-known African Americans, such as medical researcher Charles Drew, whose work led to the development of blood banks, and Guy Bluford, the first African American in space. Sharon Rice was amazed at what she learned.
A lot about my African heritage, a lot of people that I had never even heard of, knew existed. I'm now aware of a lot of different things.
The small museum has big plans to expand in 2 years to showcase more about African American struggles, progress, and hopes for the future. Deborah Block, VOA News, Baltimore.